everybody, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Jess, and today's video is going to be a bookopaly roundup slash everything that I read in the month of September. If you guys did not watch my vlog, you will not know that I added an extra 2 roles into my bookopaly roles. I won't lie, they did kind of F me over a little bit, and I can tell you that I had a very successful reading month, reading over 7 books, so I am super excited to show you guys. I'm just gonna go top to bottom on my checklist that I have on my notes on my iPad. First things first, features of romance. I originally was going to read Sarah J Maas, A Court of Rings and Ruins for this prompt. I'm doing that in my vlog. I actually decided that instead of reading that for features of romance, I'm going to be reading Laura Olympus by Rachel Smith. This is because the 3rd volume is coming out on the 12th of October, I believe. It's either the 12th or 7th of October. And I'm super excited to get the 3rd volume. I have been reading this slowly until I knew that the next volume was coming out because I love this series, give this 5 stars, absolutely adore it. I will say look up the trigger warnings before you do try to read this. Excited to continue on with this series, and I'm really excited for the day that that volume 3 is released, and I'm so glad that I chose this for features of romance instead of a longer book, because I feel like having the breakup of a graphic novel was actually so good, because at one point I was reading this alongside a book with a lot more darker themes in it, and it worked so well to just break up my reading. But I forgot to say at the beginning, but you guys might want to grab yourself a cup of tea, because this may end up being a rambly one, because I always ramble when I talk about books. Then I got published since 2020. I actually rolled this twice, so one of my extra rolls got this, and then one of my original roles had this. I read Just Like Home by Sarah Gailey. She is the author of The Echo Wife. I ended up giving this 4 stars. I'm not sure if I rated this too highly, but I was really enjoying this, and it was giving me my all-time favorite psychological thriller vibes, which is Home by Karen Donney. If you haven't read it, please read it, but definitely read the trigger warnings beforehand, because it has some very sensitive subject matter. I would also say that this has some sensitive subject matter in it as well, and it has some very morally grey characters. I don't know how I'm feeling. I don't know if I should have given it 4 stars or 3 stars. The thing is, I was getting really high 5-star vibes, getting that vibe that I got from Karen Donney Home, but the ending just ruined it for me. So I feel like this is like a 3.5 4-star read. For the second time that I rolled read / published since 2020, I chose The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab, and I gave this 4 stars. This is a book where I feel like it was very lyrical and it was very well written. However, I feel like it was like a whole lot of nothing happening really, apart from Addie being screwed over repeatedly by the deal that she had made with the devil. I listened to this on audio with my library on the Libby app. I personally, in an honest opinion, I don't think I would have got through this book if I wasn't listening to it on audio. I think I have tried quite a few times to pick this up in the past, and I stopped reading after about 50 pages every single time. This is my first ever V.E. Schwab book as well. It was written very lyrically. I have heard that this is very different to what her writing style in Vicious was, but I'm not interested in reading Vicious personally, so this is probably the only V.E. Schwab book that I will read. But I did enjoy it enough to give it 4 stars, like I said, but if I wasn't listening to it on audio, I would have DNF'd. And it's not to say that it's anything to do about the book, it's just to do with the kind of repetition and the pacing. I think it is a very slow book to read, so if you're not someone who likes a slow book to read, and it also kind of revisits the same kind of themes of Addie not being able to put anything prominent into the world, but getting excited when she managed to kind of manipulate small things to fit into the world. Landed on lowest rated on the Bookopoly board, and for this I read The Road Trip by Beth Leary. I liked it. I know there's a lot of mixed opinions on this book. I think I ended up giving it 3 stars. I think it was quite problematic because there is trigger warnings for this, but it is a moment, and the reason why they broke up is kind of due to miscommunication and not accepting listening to someone, and like a psycho best friend. And I am someone who is not a fan of the miscommunication trope. It makes me want to rip my hair out. Not really much to talk about with this one. I feel like it says enough in the synopsis of the book. First roll got me the spring, which is one of the seasons on the board, and for that I chose Invisible Girl by Lisa Jewell. I ended up giving this one 4 stars. I really enjoyed this. I thought this was written really well. I am excited to see if there's any other books from Lisa Jewell that I would enjoy reading. I got the prompt of 3rd person, and I read the book Wilder Than Midnight. This was a book that my niece gave to me. It's a children's / middle grade book. And I actually, again, Really enjoyed this. I gave it 3 stars. I thought it was quite well written. There was quite a lot of a lull in this book, and my niece had already told me that she struggled to get through it because it was quite boring. And do you know what? I agree with her. There were some boring parts, but I did like the way that it kind of wraps up and you have this story of found family. Even though someone is not your family, you can quite literally make a family out of it. Okay, and then finally for bookopaly, I rolled a chance card, and my reaction to this was rather funny. And the chance card that I rolled into and picked up was Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte. This is a book that I am still currently reading, but Becca, when she does her bookopaly, she normally counts, if you have started the book, then this counts as completing your bookopathon or bookopaly TBR. So I have technically completed my bookopaly TBR, which I'm really happy about. Now let's talk about some books that I read that were not on my bookopaly TBR. I read volume 2 of Black Butler by Yana Toboso. This one is from my library, but yeah, I love this manga novel. I really do enjoy this series, and I ended up giving this 4 stars. The Butler is so badass and there's so many things going on, and it's quite interesting because this one has quite a like a thrillery kind of plot line. I'm excited to see where volume 3 of this goes, but yeah, I'm super excited to see what volume 3 has to offer, and I do really enjoy this manga series. I've also read last night One Wild Weekend with Connor by Lexi Hart. She is kind of like a smut author. I will not stand for any smut slander on this channel. If you have anything that is not nice to say about anyone who reads smut, I quite frankly will not like to see it in my comment section below. I'm normally quite chill with what I see in my comments, but if you do put something rude and quite frankly uneducated in my comment box, I will just delete the comment and act like it was never there. I am not going to raise the challenge of trying to fight against people who make people feel like shit for enjoying reading smut, because I think it's a very adult world, and I think a lot of my viewers are adults, so I think a lot of you guys won't do this, but some people are my age, and I know some people that are my age who really frown upon people who read smut. This was a real good palette cleanser for me. Like, I'd been reading some very deep books throughout this month. I needed something to break it up, and a little bit of romance was what I needed, but I actually thought this was really well written. I ended up giving it 4 stars in the end. It's not very believable, but I like the story behind it, and it's about a ex-convict who meets kind of like a girl who's never broken the law, but he meets her when he's been shot and he's had to swim ashore, and she lives on this coastal area, and she looks after him over the weekend whilst he heals from his gun bullet wound. Which then brings me on to the 2 books that I am currently reading. One I have physically and one is audio. So first of all, I'm going to talk about Nevermore, which is the audiobook that I'm currently listening to through Libby from my library. And guys, this book is a middle grade / children's book, but it has had me laughing out loud. I'm loving it. I have a little bit left. I have, I think, 8 days to listen to the rest of it, so I'm gonna try and listen to the last, I think I've got 6 hours. I am obsessed with this at the moment. I'm so excited because I think I'm definitely going to continue this series, and I'm really excited to see how it goes. Then the other book that I am currently reading is one by Miss Taylor Jenkins Reid, which is someone who I've never read from, but she is having an era at the moment. Everyone loves her. I've never read anything from her, but I saw this in my library and I decided I was going to pick it up, and that's One True Loves. And I have only read 22 pages, but I can tell you this is going to be a romance, and it's going to be a sad romance, and I love the way she's writing. I love her writing style at the moment. I've been really thoroughly enjoying the writing style. Books that I'm currently reading, and I am enjoying 2 of them and not enjoying 1 of them, but I'm going to wait until I can get the audiobook. That's everything for today's video. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel if you're new around here. If you'd like to see more videos from me, and I'll catch you guys all in my next one. Bye!